Moana is one of the best Disney animated movies in recent memory. A brilliant soundtrack, typically outstanding animation, and a strong female character as its central protagonist are just some of the elements that make the film so wonderful. But beyond these things, Moana offers a valuable lesson for the modern Christian church. The film can be seen as a parable, filled with various metaphors, which reflect the way that Christianity operates in the world today. When we meet Moana, we see that she is a feisty young woman who dreams of leaving the island that she and her people inhabit. The island is a place of safety and comfort. Everybody knows each other and plays a specific role within the community. Her father is a man of tradition who holds to the belief that the island provides them with everything they need. He tires of her attempts to convince him that they should be out on the oceans, exploring the rest of the world. But unbeknownst to her father and the rest of the island's inhabitants, the outside world is falling into a terrible sickness. Before too long, this sickness begins to encroach upon the island itself. Meanwhile, Moana is still being called out into the world by the very spirit of the ocean. It is only when she listens to this spirit that she is led on an adventure that ultimately saves the island as well as the rest of mankind. If we look at the island as a metaphor for church, we begin to see a reflection of a very real-world situation. Many Christians, myself included, have become far too comfortable with the rituals and culture of church life that seem to exist only in their local church on a Sunday morning. Arguably, it is this religious kind of behaviour that has left many people feeling that the church is pretty irrelevant in today's society. Now, before I continue, I do need to state up front that I am not calling for the abolition of church buildings and places for Christians to meet. It is, of course, very important for fellow believers to regularly meet together so that they may share in fellowship with one another and bring praise to God. But it's also very important to remember the Great Commission of bringing the good news of Jesus Christ into the world. After all, the church is the only society that exists for the benefit of those who are not its members. This cannot be fulfilled by Christians settling down in church buildings and simply expecting the world to come to them. For many people, stepping into a church is a daunting prospect. As with any community, it has its own culture and social norms. Therefore, it is not the role of the non-believer to come to the church, but of the church to go out to the non-believer. As it says in Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 to 16, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." Like the inhabitants of Moana's home island, we need to make sure that our church buildings do not become places where we simply hide from the world in order to feel safe and comfortable with like-minded people. The world cannot see the light of Jesus, which lives in every true Christian, if we keep it hidden. It needs to be seen. In order to take that light into the world, we need to let the Holy Spirit guide us. We are reminded in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 26, that the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things and will remind you of everything I have said to you. In Moana, we see this represented, metaphorically speaking, by the spirit of the ocean, which continually guides her on her adventure. Moana has to listen to what the ocean is telling her, and likewise, every Christian needs to listen to what the Holy Spirit might be trying to tell them. It is the combination of these two aspects of the Christian life, a willingness to meet people where they're at, and a constant desire to seek the will of God through His Holy Spirit, that will ultimately change the world. This is God's plan A. There is no plan B. What about you? Are you a Christian? If so, do you find yourself constantly serving the church, but never the people outside of it? What more can you do to meet people where they're at? And in what ways do you feel God is telling you to go about it?